Valley Diehards, striving for the vital fourth spot in their run to Premiership 92, are home at Neumann Oval to third place North's Devils. Your commentators, former Australian Test captain Tom Raudonikis and ABC Sports' Warren Boland.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Brisbane Big League with a reminder that you can catch our match of the day every Sunday night with a replay every Saturday, 12 midday. 2 time slots for all the action, and there should be plenty of action today because it's crunch time for Valleys. They have to win them all from here to make the semi-finals, but it won't be easy against the Devils. Valleys equal 5th on the ladder on 16 points, Norths in 3rd position on 20 points. In the for and against department, Norths have been very solid in both attack and defence, but Valleys clearly superior to the Devils. In fact, Valleys very impressive. The best attacking record in the Premiership, 418 points scored, and in defence, the 3rd best defensive record, conceding just 228 points. Both teams were last start losers, but Tom, it's do or die for Valleys.
My word it is, and a very important game for both sides. It's paramount that Valleys contain North's playmakers. That's second row and captain Daryl Duncan, and also the halfback in Craig Groff. North must use their back line, and also centre Brett Kelso must get more involved in general play. Valley's selectors, they did a funny thing through the week. They put one of Brisbane's leading fullbacks on the wing. It makes one wonder. But Valleys, don't worry about them. They'll dig deep today, and they'll live up to their reputations as the Diehards.
Here come the Devils, led out by Daryl Duncan. At home, or away I should say, from home. The fullback is Jeff Huxtable. On one wing is Peter Gibson. In the centre, Brett Kelso with Noel Tierney. Danny Crameri on the other wing. Mark Kellaway at 5'8". Craig Groff is the halfback. In at lock forward is Ian McKenzie. Daryl Duncan and Bob Campbell in the second row, with Jason Adams, Gary Rinn and Danny Johnson the front row. The coach is Dave Brown. And the Diehards, led out by Brett Daunt. Usually the home team who comes out first. Andrew Duncan is at fullback, with Gerard Kerr on one wing, Tony O'Neill and Andrew Crowther in the centre, David Burke on the wing, Jeff Hanna is the 5'8", Brett Daunt at halfback. Brett McKenna in at lock forward, Kahu Tweedy and Steele Retchless the second row pair, and the front row is Eric Kennedy, Wade Fenton and Darren Fraser. The coach is Jeff Naylor. Eric Kennedy has been battling a knee injury, but he played strongly last week and is that much fitter this week. Has trained with the side throughout the week. And Bob Campbell, a powerful representative second rower who was suspended earlier in the season. And Norths need him to fire up but stay on the field for 80 minutes. The referee is Peter Blakely. And Norths to kick off. Valleys have a strong wind behind them in the first half. They've elected to run with it for the first 40 minutes. And David Burke brings it back. McKenna. And both these teams will be striving to get on top early. Tom, you'd expect this wind to play its part because it has been gusting up quite strongly.
Yes, and it did look like there early in the afternoon that it could rain here, but the rain has gone away. But Valleys will have to use the wind, especially early in this first half, so they can get the advantage.
Valleys 30 metres out from their own line on the 5th tackle. Comes to Brett Daunt. The kick is charged down by Craig Groff. Chasing through the Devils, Bob Campbell dives on it and then is pushed into touch. The referee is going to play the scrum. Good effort by Groff. Put pressure on Daunt. Couldn't get his kick away cleanly.
Yeah, Craig Groff does a great job in here in charging this ball down. But number 5, David Burke for Valleys, he took an awful long time to get onto that football.
Jeff Hanna has it for the Diehards. In centre field. Andrew Duncan playing at fullback. Eric Kennedy charges up the middle. In the first round encounter, it was a win to North, 6-4 back on the 17th of May. Not much in it on that occasion. And we're expecting a very close encounter here as Brett Daunt uses the wind, kicking away from Jeff Huxtable, and a fine kick by Daunt. Finds touch, 20 metres out.
Yeah, Valley's players controlling the ball well here. They took 5 rucks then and didn't even drop the football. Brett Daunt just took aim and found touch and puts pressure under Norths. And a bad mistake there by half-back Craig Groff. Knocked the ball on at the scrum. Now Brett Daunt gets the feed.
And now the penalty goes to Norths against a poor scrum feed by Brett Daunt. So both halfbacks making errors. And in the end, North's coming up with possession, or should do, when they look for touch, as Groff does now. It was a golden opportunity for Valleys that was given away by the halfback.
Well, that's right. As long as the referee here, Peter Blakely, is consistent with the scrum feeds, if the Norths players put in the second row, they should be penalised also.
Up to the halfway go the Devils. Rin gets it wide, taking it up as the front rower, Danny Johnson. Raw, changing direction, trying to find a hole in the Valley's forwards. And the penalty goes against Valleys, not clearing away from Groff. Once the tackle had been completed, they wanted to go on with it.
Oh, this is good to see here. The two halfbacks, Brett Daunt and Craig Groff, you know, they know how important they are to each other's teams, and they're not going to cop anything here today, so we should see a wonderful clash.
Groff looks for touch, kicking into the wind, and it doesn't find the line. David Burke underneath it. Bad mistake by Groff, because Tom, he's kicking from centre field there, and he's kicked into the wind.
Well, that is a bad mistake there by Craig Groff. He should know better. He's very experienced. We see another mistake by Darren Fraser, the Valley's hooker. Knocks the ball on from the dummy half position. Awful
getting caught
football.
up in the foot of Duncan. Fraser not concentrating well enough. Plenty of weight in the Valley scrum, and Groff burrows his way in there for the ball. The referee gives the penalty to Valleys. I wouldn't be surprised if it is against the halfback, using his hands in the scrum. The ball had never come out.
Yeah, plus the North's pack here, they just crumbled. Now that's good weight by the Valley's pack of forwards. Now somebody's just opened their mouth, and the referee has marched them another 10 yards. Early in this match, we're seeing basic mistakes, and the first grade footballers with so much at stake, it is bad football.
Both teams just panicking a little early in the game, and it does sometimes happen that on windy days teams can lose concentration, particularly with their passing. Here's Brett Daunt, he throws a dump in, he goes straight through. Now he looks for support, can't find Tweedy, the ball on the ground, and they've managed to collect it through Crowther. Great break. Daunt showed sharp pace there. Now it's Andrew Duncan, the fullback, out of dummy half. He's only 20 metres out. Opportunity here. Kennedy powers ahead, tries to slip the ball to Daunt. It's on the ground, and Norths have got it. Diving in was Jason Adams. Early in the tackle count, Kennedy may be just a little ambitious here. I guess if the pass had stuck.
Yeah, but Brent Daunt actually, he overrun the pass, but the pass was a bit low.
Campbell gets it just outside the quarter line. Gary Rinn is the hooker and dummy half. Gets it to Duncan. He slips a good pass away to Jason Adams. Now Groff. Pressure was up on him, so it goes back to Huxtable. A wobbly kick off his right boot, straight down the throat of David Burke. It is interesting to see Burke on the wing. He conceded a penalty late in the game last week, which Valley's lost, conceding that penalty in possession. Maybe Valley's coach Jeff Naylor not too happy with that, or maybe he's decided that Andrew Duncan is better placed at fullback than on the wing, whereas David Burke is a versatile player.
But Warren, I think it's a silly thing to do where you weaken one position to strengthen another.
Here is Duncan up the middle. Andrew Duncan hitting it well on the burst. North's back on their goal line. Daunt gets it out wide. Cutting back in there, though, is Benton. Now Fraser from dummy half. He burrows for the line. Doesn't make it, and that is the last tackle. The referee awarding the handover. Seemed to allow North to come away from their goal line a long way.
Well, North, they've held the pressure pretty well here early in the match. For the last 6 minutes, Valleys have put enormous pressure on North, but they haven't cracked. Good defence.
Campbell slips a good ball. No way through, though, for Kellaway. Duncan, hard and straight. No frills. Down near his own quarter line.
And very hard to put on the deck.
Raw. Kicks off his left foot. Plenty of height in it, and it's more distance that time. Better kick from Craig Roth, even though it went straight to David Burke. Height gave the Chasers time to get down there. It's a good tackle by Tierney. Now it's O'Neill. Hannah.
Well, I think that's bad football there on the Valleys forwards, where a young 5'8" who weighs nothing, Jeff Hannah, he had to take that ball up in the ruck. He'd be 4 stone ring and wet.
Kenner only 30 metres out as he plays it back. It goes to Daunt. He's got a back line. He goes to Duncan. Andrew Duncan has played well so far. He's running very straight. On the last tackle, up it goes. Tom Fenton. High kick. Well taken by Huxtable. Gramery.
Yeah, the ball's put up high by Wade Fenton, and a good chase by Eric Kennedy. And but when a forward has to kick the ball on the last tackle, well, something's going wrong. Now Brett Daunt's got to get his players thinking and playing to the game plan, which they're not.
Rinn from dummy half. Gary Rinn is wearing jersey 18. As Craig Groff gets his kick away. Duncan well positioned. Valleys will, I'm sure, feel that having elected to run with the wind in the first half. As Kerr skirts wide, good run from Jared Kerr. It put into touch. Good defence by North. Kerr realised the danger, tried to come back in field. A good chase by Tierney amongst others for North. The Valleys will feel that they should go in at half-time with a lead with the wind behind them. About a 6-point breeze or so, Tom?
Yeah, I think so. But at the moment, Norths are doing their defence and they're handling it very well.
Move up quickly on top of Tierney. That was Crowther making the tackle. Norths switch the point of attack. They go to Huxtable. Beats one tackle. The winger Kerr came in to nail him.
You can see Norths here. They're working the ball infield, and Daryl Duncan standing down the blind side. Valleys are a side, and they are a bit susceptible down the blind side in defence, so Norths are working that to a T, attacking that blind side.
Up the middle, Groff now swings the pass away, and the big, don't argue, from Tierney. Groff with the kick on the last tackle. Deep. Back goes Duncan. It stands up in the in-goal area, but Groff is the only chaser, and he can't make the tackle. One-on-one, they're difficult tackles on fullbacks, and there should have been much better straight line of defence chasing that kick.
Yeah, my word, Andrew Duncan, he had enough time there to have a cup of tea, and the only bloke who went down was the kicker, was Craig Groff, and their chase came very poor at this stage.
And Valleys now 30 metres out from their own line. A good burst by O'Neill, but an equally good tackle by Campbell. Kennedy gallops forward. Last tackle, they've used up 5. Just short of the halfway, Daunt with the kick. Deep, and takes a beautiful bounce. That's the second superb kick of the match from Brett Daunt. Heading down into that corner.
Good kick here again by Brett Daunt. The way this game's, the way it looks like it's being played at the moment, the Norse players are going to have pretty sore shoulders by the time half-time comes up. They're going to have to do an awful lot of tackling.
So the Devils come away with it. McKenzie, for a team who are running into the wind, North are spending a fair bit of time in the opposition half. Good run by Johnson. And they keep going forward. Good stuff from the Devils. The 2 front rowers making plenty of ground, as is the hooker. Now Kelso, who's looking more dangerous today than the last time we saw North.
Yeah, when we seen him last time he played, he wasn't getting involved enough, and maybe you heard me talking before the game. Who's to know? But but he's playing very well.
Here's a chance for North as the ball is rebounded, but Valleys have managed to come up with it. For a moment, North had a real chance as it came loose. Now it's Burke. North up inside the 5 metres. Valleys get the penalty as the kick here, rebounding backwards. They're all onside.
Yeah, Rob Campbell did the right thing putting it on the toe too, but he was just a bit unfortunate. Fortunate that the Valleys player fell onto the ball.
And Daunt finds touch. It's a good kick. Didn't have much angle to work with. It still picked up 15, 20 metres. Now it's Kennedy for Valleys. These two teams last start losers. West defeated Valleys 18-16 last week after Valleys led 10-0. Daunt making half a break. And East defeated North 17-6. It was 2-1 in favour of East, and goal kicking the difference. And North again this week without Guy Harvey. That was a knock on a dummy half, and Fraser can't believe that he would make such a foolish mistake.
Yeah, Darren Fraser, look, he just takes his eye off the football. He had his head in an upright position to look to the player he was going to play the ball to, and another awful mistake.
Tom, North must miss the goal kicking of Guy Harvey if it comes to a tight contest.
Oh, my word, Guy Harvey is definitely the best kicker in the Brisbane competition. They'll miss him today, and they'll also miss his hard running. But I think North they're going quite well at this stage of the game, because remember, in the second half they've got the win, and I'm sure Daryl Duncan will be putting the ball down all day, so maybe they're not looking too bad.
No points on the board, and we've had 30 minutes of play. The defence working hard on both sides. The Valleys have got the ball, and it's McKenna. Right in centre field. Out it comes to Retchless. He's worked his way to the edge of the ruck, beat a couple of tackles in close, but the defence held.
Yeah, the Valleys forwards, they're not rolling the football, they're not making enough yardage, and they've got to really get their game together, get a bit deeper, and make sure they hit that ball on the fly and make North earn their tackles.
Valleys only 20 metres out now as Fraser has a go. Well tackled low by Kellaway. Kelso over the top. The fifth tackle, only 9 metres out now. Up it goes from Daunt. This is a handy kick. It's coming down close to the post. They all fly for it. And well taken in the end by Cramery on the rebound. It was a good kick coming down close to that goal line, holding up in the breeze. And not one of the bombs really has been taken cleanly today.
No, that's right, because the wind is swirling and it makes it very hard for the to judge the football. I think Brett Daunt would actually be better putting the ball along the ground into the in goal and forcing a dropout.
Now an overlap created for North, and it's Tierney striding out. Great pace by Tierney, carves right through, Huxtable inside him. Fine tackle by Andrew Duncan, though the fullback got across. Quick play the ball. Away they go. Peter Gibson makes a few more metres. Plays it back. Brook, Kellaway, Johnson. Quick ball on from Campbell to Cramery. But he goes back into the forwards. Valleys had moved up on the edge of the ruck there to cut off the path to the back line. Rourke on the last tackle, tries a little kick, he gets the bouncer, goes to McKenzie. McKenzie out of a tackle, back to Groff. He changes direction and sprints in for a great try. The little chip on the last tackle leads to the try by Craig Groff. And it all started 2 tackles earlier when they broke from their own end of the field. Fine football to get to the overlap, and a big bust by Tierney. That was stopped, but just 2 tackles later, Groff with a kick which found open spaces. Great football here from Ian McKenzie to beat a couple of tackles, and then the pass swung back to Craig Groff, and he beat the cover defence of Kerr.
Oh, this is great work here by Craig Groff. He takes the ball up, and it's a left foot kick. Now the ball, and look at Ian McKenzie backing up here. Now for the lock forward, that's great football. And turns a one-handed pass into Craig Groff. And I'll tell you what, North's going to be very happy to, they might be leading here at half-time, and they're against the wind.
First try of the match scored by Craig Groff, the representative halfback. In the absence of Guy Harvey, it's Brett Kelso who shoots for goal. He's been with North for 6 years. 27 years of age, right in front of the posts, and he steers it through. to convert the try, and North's lead by 6 points to 0.
You can put this try down to the great thinking of Craig Groff. Isn't it great in rugby league to see somebody who can kick off both feet? But also Ian McKenzie here, he's made sure that his selection was warranted, and he had a big part in that try also.
The Valleys, who really have struggled to win games this season, despite having 11 state league representatives and going very close very often, they find themselves in jeopardy once more. In fact, this season, they have lost 2 games by 1 point and 3 games by 2 points. So in all 5 losses, and all very narrow ones, very costly. Campbell gets a good ball away to Rin.
Now Craig Groff, he's having a wonderful match here. He's switching play and to the left and to the right. And we just see a great ball by Daryl Duncan to Ian McKenzie. They're making great yardage, and at this stage our Valleys are looking very vulnerable.
Comes out to Tierney. Tom, where they're looking vulnerable is up the middle. Not that they are cracking wide open, but Norths are making ground every time through the forwards.
This is right. And when they're making their yardage, their backs are in position and they're nice and deep, and they're just making great yardage, 30 metres at a time.
That's a handover on the last tackle. Johnson going to ground with it. Tweedy has it to Valleys. Swings away from one tackle, but McKenzie doesn't miss him.
Well, looking at the Valleys forwards here, they seem a little bit disinterested. They should be really hitting the advantage line with their forwards, and they're not doing that now. Brett Dawn, he can't do it all by himself, and I'm sure Jeff Naylor at half-time, he'll really bag the ears off these fellas.
Yes, their intensity isn't matching North at this stage as Kennedy goes to the line. And the slow play the balls are also a feature that Valleys are falling down in comparison to North. McKenna tried to get the pass inside, but it went forward. They're looking shaky here, Valleys. Andrew Crowther picking the ball up, but it had gone forward. McKenna.
Yeah, Brett McKenna here. He's running out virtually as a centre now. Unless he's deep, okay, it's okay, but he wasn't on the boil then, and no wonder he dropped the football.
And it was a pretty good tackle, strong tackle by Johnson with Kelso that jolted him and caused him to lose the ball. Now Duncan swings it wide with Huxtable. Pass. Well, the referee said it was okay. Adams. Groff looking for runners. He swings a long pass out to Campbell standing wide, and Bob Campbell goes straight through. Tweedy chases from behind. Campbell tries to stay alive. Kellaway can't hang on to the pass. He was tackled as the ball arrived, and it went forward. Campbell breaking through the Valley's back line.
Oh, he's really hitting this line, Robbie Campbell, and gets a good pass away to Mark Kellaway, but a good tackle there by the Valley's player, jolted the ball loose, and really they're playing well, North.
O'Neill goes up the middle. He loses the ball backwards. Daunt just manages to get it. It was a mistake that Valleys really had to recover from. They just can't afford to give North back the ball 4 minutes before half-time. Valleys need a try. They're down by 6 points to 0. Tweedy. Hannah goes to dummy half. Daunt. Kicks straight to Cramery. Brett Daunt there, not going to the air. He put it on the ground, hoping the bounce would go over Cramery's head, but it went straight to the winger instead. It may have been better going over his head and using the wind, looking for the corner. Huxtable swings it wide to Kelso. This is where Norths are finding space out wide. A great pass comes back to Kelso. He gets it inside to Gibson. Good football by Tierney and Kelso there.
Yeah, Brett Kelso, they call him the Phantom at North, and he was in that movement twice, and their back line, North's back line, is looking very, very sharp.
Now Duncan tries a little chip. It goes through to the other Duncan, Andrew Duncan, knocked it forward, and the referee's going to play a knock-on by both teams. And the first one, I presume, was off Duncan here.
Yeah, the first knock-on was by Daryl Duncan, and I said before that forwards shouldn't chip kick. Maybe Daryl Duncan can. Bit of a hypocrite, aren't I?
Well, I had not much danger of being wrong when I said the knock-on came from Duncan either. There were two of them involved. Now a charge down as Valleys were ready to kick ahead from the scrum and give their wingers a chase. It's charged down. So there'll be another scrum. And this time the scrum feed is going to go to North. Because a charge down is not a knock-on. Comes out.
Notice off those scrums there in vital positions, Daryl Duncan actually plays as a 5'8" because he can make good yardage and can score a try from that position.
North only 15 metres out now as it goes to Campbell. Up the centre he goes. Valley's defence being tested just 2 minutes before half-time. Groff gives it to Daryl Duncan. He goes for the line himself and he's over the line. Duncan from short range, the big burly Daryl Duncan has forced his way over. A try that surely Valleys were expecting. Duncan often has a go from this sort of distance. The defence should have been equal to the task, but there was no stopping Daryl Duncan. He burst through the tackle. Kennedy unable to hold him. So too a couple of other players. No match for the strength of Daryl Duncan.
Yeah, Daryl Duncan, he's unstoppable in these places, and we'll put it this way, I wouldn't like to tackle him.
Daryl Duncan, the spearhead of the North's attack, really. Always using variety with the hands. That time, he just put his body on the line.
Noel Tierney is going to take this shot at goal. Brett Kelso has landed 1 from 1. But Tierney, who did the kicking last week for Norths in their loss to East, has taken over. As the half-time siren sounds, he moves into it, and that's a fine-looking kick from Tierney. No mistake from close to the post. So Norths, running into the wind in the first half, have scored 2 tries and converted them both to lead 12 points to 0.
Let's take a look at the half-time stats. Norths have won the scrums 9-5, none going against the feed. Norths have also got the penalties 6-4, and they've had more possession. 80 tackles in possession to Valleys 68. The error count, too many mistakes by both teams. Valleys have missed 15 tackles to North's 9, and the handling by both teams certainly very ordinary in that first half. 4 bad passes and 9 drop balls by Valleys. And the Devils, 2 bad passes, 10 drop balls. Overall, Valleys have made 28 errors to North's 21. Some dark clouds hanging around the ground as Valleys get the second half underway. And unless they pick up their effort, some dark clouds hanging over Valleys' hopes for this season, Tom.
My word, and North's coach Dave Brown, he'd have to be really happy with their first half performance because they've got a 12-point lead. They've got a gale behind their back. And I'm sure after they take the ball up about 3 or 4 rucks that what's name will kick the ball deep into their territory.
Looking at the tackle counts from the first half, Steele Richless leading the way with Brett McKenna. Both have made 15 tackles. Jeff Hanna, the 5'8", up there with 14 for Valleys. And for North, Gary Rinn, Bob Campbell and Craig Groff. So again, Craig Groff from halfback in there, right up with the forwards and making plenty of tackles. And Andrew Duncan at fullback, bringing a kick back. And you would expect him to have a lot of work to do. With Groff sure to exploit the breeze. Kennedy.
All the North's forwards, you can hear him talking out. Give it to him. Move up in defence. Let's knock these blokes over. So good talk.
Now a good run by Fenton. That's a much better effort by Wade Fenton, who I thought was quiet in the first 40 minutes. But he bounced over the advantage line there. He really tore under that ball. Got some momentum going to turn the defence around.
Well, what Wayne Fenton did there, he got nice and deep and really took that ball on the fly, which they weren't doing in the first half. I think the coach, Jeff Nell, he must have had a lot to say at half-time, and he would have put a rocket into these fellas for sure.
They're going to have to continue it for 40 minutes, not just the opening minutes, as Huxtable charges well, stepping off his left foot and showing some acceleration. Gibson, Peter Gibson, the winger, in amongst the forwards. Groff, Campbell, one out. No support for him, and as he turned, he was looking to get a pass away.
Well, Bob Campbell's the type of player that somebody must back him up because he has got the ability to unload, and there has been stories around that a few Sydney clubs are interested in him for next season.
Rourke drives the kick straight to Kerr, who knocks it on. Bad mistake. Just what he really needed was a kick to come straight to him. He was given the opportunity, couldn't hang on to it. It's gone against the feed. Rourke put it in, but it came back to Valleys. Hannah gets away from Daryl Duncan. Duncan limping back onside. Tweedy. In fact, Daryl Duncan did pretty well to break from the scrum to chase the 5'8" across field.
Oh, well, Daryl Duncan, he's a man of many talents, and one of them is cover defence.
Kerr in amongst the forwards. Valleys need to get that sting in their forwards again. Gaunt. Kennedy. Duncan gets hold of him with Tierney. They're 30 metres out on the last tackle. Gaunt puts the bomb up high. Waiting underneath is Huxtable, eye on the ball, takes it well, lunging forward as the wind just took it away from him at the last moment. He did well to hang on to it.
Oh, good kick by Brett Dawn, but look at Jeff Huxtable. Look at his eyes, doesn't take them off the football, and that is a la Graham Langlands, and good work there, Jeff Huxtable.
And now Norths get a penalty as Valley's coaches, Jeff Naylor and Brian Niebling, look on. It was against Valleys for holding down in the tackle. Gary Rinn to take the tap. Gives it to Dan Johnson. Coming in waves, Jason Adams. It's always Johnson and followed by Adams, or vice versa, the two front rowers doing their work up the middle. And it's often on the third tackle, Bob Campbell's job to take the ball and try and get a pass away if he can get free. Predictable but effective. Tierney stepping well. Risky pass inside, and Valleys have got it. Picked up by Hannah. Now Retchless. Let's see what Valleys do with this set of 6. They've used up one tackle. There's Daunt swinging it out to Kennedy on the edge of the ruck. He pops the pass to Tweedy, who is following him. Now it's Fraser backing up well. But the end result of that is they only made 3 metres, despite getting away 4 passes. McKenna finds a bit of space. Slow play the ball, even though there's a North player laying on the ground. It was a slow play the ball. Kennedy up the middle. Daunt. Hannah. Trying to get it away to David Burke. Last tackle. It's Daunt. Puts the kick ahead. Rourke took it out of the arms of his fullback Huxtable.
But that was a waste of time, that kick there by Brett Dawn, because he had no chasers, and the rest of the team have got to get behind their captain and give him a bit of a hand, because they lose today. All they've got to play for the rest of the year is their trip away.
This is really what it hinges on for Valleys today. They have to win them all from here to make their semi-finals. And they have matches against Redcliffe and Logan City to come, matches they could expect to win if they're a true championship team. Now North's getting a little sloppy out wide as Kelso couldn't hang on to it, but it went backwards. Huxtable gets the kick away. And it takes the bounce away from Andrew Duncan. That's a good kick by Huxtable. He didn't really set himself, but picked up 40 metres. And rain now starting to drizzle down. Fine kick by Jeff Huxtable. Yeah, back at fullback today.
Yeah, and he put a leg break on this, but he didn't really set himself for the kick, but he knew he had the breeze there, and it just looks after itself.
Duncan for Valleys. Scrums 9-7 to North. Daunt dummies inside. Retchless on the outside. Johnson standing right over the top of him. The wind picking up all the time. So Neil gets it away to Kennedy.
Now, all the Valleys players, you could virtually throw a blanket over them. They're not getting deep enough there, and they're making little yardage, and they've got to get deep and run onto this football.
A good individual effort by Tweedy out of dummy half, nevertheless. Retchless. They've used up 5 tackles. Goes to Daunt. Got his kick in just as he was hammered by Kellaway. And Peter Gibson has it for North. And Daunt is down injured. He was hit hard as he got the kick in. He's hurt his knee. They can't afford to lose him at this stage.
He's holding his shins there, and it looks like the ball or the North player's leg hit him on the shins.
Tierney works it wide for the Devils. Here it is, Mark Kellaway coming in with the charge down on the kick. It looked as if he hit Daunt in the upper body, but it's the legs that are troubling Brett Daunt. Out it comes now to hucks the ball. He's got Mackenzie out wide. Daunt just got back to his feet. Makes the tackle, or helps make the tackle. Last tackle for North. Raw drives them back. That's not an attacking kick. That's an offensive kick, you might say. Just putting them back there. But the chase a little loose, and Andrew Duncan able to make good ground back upfield.
Well, it looks like it could rain here at any minute now, and if it does rain, it's going to make Valley's task even the more harder, because they're doing it tough out here, and, well, they might need a miracle.
Tell you, Tom, it's starting to feel a little like Bruce Stadium in Canberra did yesterday, but we should be in the tropical north here at Neumann Oval.
My word.
As Fenton has a go, gets it over the halfway. Daunt, Retchless. North's up inside the 5, is it? Well, the penalty has gone to Valleys. It's against Kelso, never back.
Yeah, Brett Kelso and Danny Johnson, they weren't there 5 metres here, and Brett Kelso goes up to do the tackle and was offside.
12 points to 0 in favour of North. 10 minutes into the second half. It comes out to Wade Fenton. He straightens up. This is a good run from Fenton. He's made a couple of good bursts in the first 10 minutes of this half. Retchless. Still on his feet. McKenna now. They're only 10 metres out. You can hear Valley saying it's only the second tackle. Let's work for it. Fraser has a go but drops it. The penalty has gone to North. The ball was stolen. It was ripped out, says the referee. Fraser. Well, the referee obscuring our view. I thought Fraser had lost it, but the referee was a lot closer.
I think the penalty might have been given because the marker wasn't standing in the front on position. Now, there's a funny decision there. If I was Brett Daunt there, it's only early in the second half, I would have kicked for goal, for sure.
Daunt holds up the pass for Tweedy. He's lost the ball. Tweedy could see the line looming up. Couldn't hang on to it. North dive on the ball.
Yeah, Kahu Tweedy takes his eye off the football and puts it on the deck. But there was 2 points begging there, and the score would have been 12-2 with 30 minutes to go. So, you know, Valley's doing it hard enough now. They want to get whatever points they can.
Daryl Duncan throws the pass. The replacement on the field for North. Catch up with that in a moment.
Yeah, Joe Topping, number 16, is a replacement for North.
Mackenzie now. Cut straight through. Mackenzie showing good pace. Throws the pass on the inside, and Bob Campbell racing for the line. Groff now tries to change direction. Flings it over the top. Nobody around, the ball bouncing loose, and has finally fallen on by Tony O'Neill for Valleys. Tremendous raid by Mackenzie down the middle. Oh, now a dreadful mistake. Valleys have left it behind at the dummy half position.
Yeah, Ian Mackenzie, he's made great inroads here and gets a great one-handed pass to Bob Campbell. He unloads one-handed and gets the ball to Craig Groff. But actually, North then look like the Harlem Globetrotters. What enterprising football from North.
But North have got the ball again as Cramery comes in from the scrum when it was David Burke at dummy half who took off for Valleys and left it behind. Now Topping. Only a few metres out. Campbell has a go. He's close. Valley's defence really being tested now. Out it comes from Mackenzie. He knows there must be space out wide. Tierney cuts back in. trips over a player who was on the ground for Valleys, just managed to help out in the tackle. Groff. Huxtable. 5 metres out. Valleys clinging on for dear life here as Duncan has a go, looking for his second try. Back it comes to Groff. He's lost the ball over the line. It was that close for Devils to putting Valleys away for the match. Groff over the line, couldn't hang on here.
Well, Daryl Duncan somehow got that pass away, and poor old Craig Groff a bit unlucky there, because if he scored that try, bye-bye the Diehards.
Groff, Huxtable, changes direction, tries to get outside, finally swings it back to Groff. And half a spear tackle there as Groff was lifted momentarily. Gary Rinn. The last tackle, they're 35 metres out. Daryl Duncan kicks for the corner. David Burt hoping it's going to go dead. He's in trouble now as Cramery pins him. Tough decision there for Burke. He was really in an awkward one. He was hoping the ball would go dead so he'd get a 22 tap, but it bounced up and Cramery flying through.
Well, good tactics by Norse again. Daryl Duncan put the long kick in, and Denny Cramery, he did well because he was onside, and now Valley's under enormous pressure. They've got to kick out from their own in-goal line, and things don't look real good for them.
A low kick. Down to Campbell. Just inside the Valley's 22, so they're really soaking it up here. North with another set of 6 to hammer away at them.
And look at North's backs, they're nice and deep, ready to attack, and don't be surprised if they get the ball this next ruck.
Popping plays it back. It comes to Daryl Duncan on the blind side. He's gotten in out wide. He goes himself. He's over. Daryl Duncan has scored his second try of the match. And it'll be very tough for Valleys from here. A big smile from Duncan. The front teeth missing. A big gaping smile. And why not? Good individual effort for the second time from Duncan. He had men on the outside, which just drew a little bit of defence off him. Big Bob Campbell looming up. Kahu Tweedy was in 2 minds. Duncan went for it himself and reaches out.
Well, Daryl Duncan even fooled me. I thought the ball was going to go out to the backs, and no wonder Valleys had no hope because he fooled me. And a great try, and that sealed the match for Norse. And isn't he a good sort, Daryl Duncan? Have a look at him.
Noel Tierney, 25 years of age, shooting for goal. He's kicked 1 from 1, and Kelso kicked 1 from 1. They've done pretty well in the absence of Guy Harvey. It's slightly more difficult, and he skews it to the left. So they haven't quite got this one all wrapped up, Norths, but I certainly wouldn't be putting any money on Valleys. Norths leading 16 points to 0 with 22 minutes to go.
Yes, Daryl Duncan just picks the blind side, and what a great thinker Daryl Duncan is, and he's getting a bit on in age now, but if he got himself fit too, I still think he could make a go of it in Sydney, but maybe he's left his run a little bit too late.
Campbell does well. Good thinking there as he got an awkward bounce and took it on the legs. Now he hands it off. Rinn first a few more metres upfield. Mackenzie. Better defence from Valleys that time. They really nailed Mackenzie. Tweedy and Reckless, the second row, is hitting hard. Topping. Stumbling a few metres forward, dragging them with him.
A few hours before today's game, Valleys had a team meeting because they knew it was a do-or-die effort. But the team meeting, well, it couldn't have done too much because Valleys have been pretty ordinary. And they just give a penalty away here in the ruck. Daryl Duncan tried to play the football but was interfered with, and the penalty was right.
There's Brett McKenna all over the back of Duncan. Groff tries to catch them by surprise, taking the quick tap, and he did just that. There's a replacement on for Valleys now. It's David Baildon out there wearing jersey 4. Danny Johnson, formerly from Harvey Bay, where North's coach Dave Brown had the job. Topping.
Watch Daryl Duncan, he's sitting down the blind side, and that's where the ball's going. He's picked it.
Duncan puts the kick through. Campbell giving chase. Campbell thundering through, but Andrew Duncan did well. got down low, kept his eye on the ball despite knowing the chasers were coming through. This is Boland now.
You can hear Ian McKenzie out there. He's talking to his players or to his fellow forwards, and he just went in for a great tackle.
Kennedy offloading to Dawn. Dawn's got men inside. Tony O'Neill is chased by Brett Kelso. Looks back inside. The pass deflects. It goes to Fraser. Tremendous cover defence from Kellaway in the end to cut it off. Valley's still alive, though, with plenty of tackles. Brett Dawn gets a pass away. Crowther racing in for the try for Valley, so they're not finished yet. Andrew Crowther scores for Valleys. Length of the field effort in 2 tackles. The Diehards put first points on the board for them. No smiles for Niebling or Naylor yet, though. A long way to go, but they are back in the hunt. Daunt got the pass out to Crowther. North's unable to get back and reset themselves. Crowther able to step inside the last line of defence and scores right between the posts. It should be a 6-pointer.
Yes, Brett Daunt here, he got the pass to make that long run in the first place and split them again and gave a good ball to Andrew Crowther, who scores under the post.
Jared Kerr right in front of the post to attempt the conversion. So he adds the 2 points, and Valleys, well, they are in this match. It's 16 points to 6, 10 points the difference, 19 minutes to go.
Well, it's a funny game, is rugby league, because all of a sudden the Diehards looked shot to ribbons, but just one break there and a try here by Andrew Crowther, but there was a bad tackle there by Peter Gibson. I thought it should have got Andrew Crowther. But
it is Pat Chumavave on the field for North. Originally selected in the fullback position, but Jeff Huxtable was moved there. And Huxtable still at fullback now. Chumavave will play out wide in the back line. 16 points to 6 in favour of North. So Valleys now can just have to throw everything at the Devils.
So Pat Chumavave, who did he replace? Warren, did he replace
Just not too sure who has left the field.
Brett Kelso, I think it is, and we'll put it this way,
Brett Kelso's still out there. As Brett Dawn has the overlap here. It goes to Kerr. He gets on the outside of Gibson. Kerr down the sideline. Kicks ahead. Back goes Huxtable. Looking for the bounce. Oh, and he takes it well, Jeff Huxtable. Races back towards the field of play. Dives over the goal line into the field of play. Saves the day for North. Kerr did very well there. And now it's Topping bringing it away for North. Chumavave now. Tierney. Tierney has always been elusive today. Made a few busts already. Rourke decides to play it down the other end. Good tactics from the halfback. Got the wind behind him. Why not kick? Not only that, but he finds touch.
Now, they win the scrub here, North, and they're on the attack again.
Huxtable up there in attack off the scrum win. Valley's spending a lot of time in their own half in the last few minutes.
Ian McKenzie, he's had a big bearing on this game from the lock forward position. He's been taking the ball up and doing plenty of work in defence.
Campbell involved in plenty of action today. 15 metres out. Kellaway. Tierney. Solid tackle. Fraser it was again. Darren Fraser working hard. Back inside is Kelso. Trying to cut through. He gets it to Daryl Duncan. He's lost it. Had his third try in the match in sight. Couldn't hang on. Almost a hat-trick for the North skipper.
Yeah, look at Brett Kelso go through this gap here. Turns a beautiful ball into Daryl Duncan and drops the ball, and then he knocks the goal post over. You wouldn't want to be that goal post, would you? I think the goal post, it was worse off.
Now, by the rule, that should have been a penalty to North because that ball technically was stripped. I mean, I don't know what the Valleys player was supposed to do other than try and attempt to stop the try, which he managed to do. Duncan didn't lose it. It was pulled out of his arm. Crowther now with the ball. Short ball comes out to Boland.
Dave Boland, he was picked early on in the week in the start-up side, so that's a fun one. Also, why he didn't start the game. We see good football by Valleys here.
On it goes now to Crowther. Crowther in space, gets it back to Brett Dawn. Brett Dawn sprinting to the line. He's got his wing. He might be able to go all the way himself, and he's there. So it's not all over. Even still, 8 minutes to go. Brett Dawn sprinting away. Fine try, and he realises that the clock is ticking down. He jogs back quickly. Kennedy with a great ball back inside here to Dawn. Out it came to Crowther. He turned it inside to O'Neill, who's made a couple of good breaks in the last few minutes. This is Crowther now, and he finds Daunt back on the inside. I thought that they would be able to close in on him, but he sprinted away, chased by Huxtable. That's a great effort from Daunt, who was at the beginning of it and finished it.
Well, it's good to see here. Great ball by Kennedy over the time to Brett Daunt. Back to Crowther. Now, Brett Daunt and Crowther handle the ball twice on this in this try here. The ball goes back to Brett Daunt, looks for his support on the outside, sees it wasn't there, then just pins the ears back, and then, mate, Valleys might be a hope.
This is a vital kick for Jared Kerr. It's out wide. He allows for the win. It's a great-looking kick, but it's not quite good enough. He gave it as good a chance as he could in the windy conditions. And North hang on to a 6-point lead at 16-10. A grandstand finish coming up with 7 minutes to go.
Yes, like we said, that great pass there from Eric Kennedy. And Brett Daunt here, he's got a fair bit of pace, Brett Daunt. Watch when he gets to the football. Just sees that try line, and Jeff Huxtable tries in vain to get hold of him, and but they just couldn't stop his momentum from getting the ball over the line.
Well, what a finish we have coming up here. A converted try, the difference. And that kick going out towards the touchline. It goes backwards off Crowther. Desperate stuff from Valleys. They had to quickly get back. And this is Craig Major, one of the replacements on for Valleys. Now it's Crowther, who's been looking dangerous in the last few moments. This will be a great effort if the Diehards can get out of this. Boland to play it. Kennedy bumps off one, got it back to Fraser. Daunt. Out it comes to O'Neill. The short ball onto Andrew Duncan. 30 metres out from their own line now. They've used up 5 tackles. Will they try the short kick? It goes to Daunt. No, he goes deep and high. Underneath it is Huxtable. Took it calmly. No worries there for Jeff Huxtable, but a good tackle by Retchless on him. Out Chumavavi.
Well, North should close up shop here and just take the 5 rucks and put a kick deep into Valley's territory and just make no mistakes. I can't see Valley's getting out of it at this stage.
A field goal would also be a consideration for North. They lead by 6 points. Duncan goes up the middle. He's about 38 metres out on the 5th tackle. It goes to Groff. He tries the field goal, had a big swing at it, and it goes over the dead ball line. Groff knew that he was a fair way out, and he tried to give it the biggest swing that his left leg could get into action.
Well, the idea was there, and now Valley's got to tap the ball here. North's get time to get their defence in order, and they just have to pin them down here now and make sure that there's no missed tackles.
Fraser.
Well, Valley, they've disappointed me a little bit because, OK, they've made a bit of a comeback in the second half, but their forwards overall have been disappointing. They've made far too many mistakes. And look at them now. There's no backline organised anywhere. You could throw a blanket over them. I think for a team that's struggling for survival, for very, very ordinary.
Duncan, who has played pretty well. One player who's made ground every time he's touched the ball. Fraser, Kennedy. Trying to slip it to Daunt, and it was very nearly on it. Very nearly found Brett Daunt on the fly. But North have come up with the ball. Referee blows time off. There's Campbell has fallen on it. Hurt his back by the look of it. Cramery. Tom, I think it was the first half performance of Valleys that was lacking intensity. They didn't come out like a team playing for survival.
No, they certainly didn't. But their forwards, they weren't deep in attack. They weren't hitting the advantage line, and they weren't making Norse earn their tackles.
Too little too late from the Diehards today. Saying that, they've still got 3.5 minutes. They're down by 6 points.
But
the draw is possible.
Well, it's great to see the old side, Norse. And look at
Callaway straight through, stays on his feet. Great tackle by Wrenchless. He reached out and just managed to collar him. Last tackle. Groff to Kelso. Back to Craig Groff. Craig Groff has a go himself. He reaches for the line, driven back by Burke. Burke makes a last-ditch tackle, and Valleys cling to life once more.
That was great football there by Norse, and Mark Kellaway, he just opened them up like a can of beans, and so they've got no hope now with only 2 minutes left of this match.
Craig Adams, one of the replacements on the field, plays it back. Kennedy pops it inside to Daunt. He's trying anything now. Who can blame him? It's Adams who comes up with it. O'Neill. Baildon. A great tackle from Campbell. Baildon again. Just short of the halfway line. Daunt tries the short kick this time. North's half expecting it, and Chumavave did well. Kerr with the fine tackle. Well, Valleys won't use it as an excuse, as Groff nearly lost it, and he has lost it. It's a knock-on.
Well, that's about the first mistake Craig Groff's done all day. He looks like he's injured here, whether he's wasting time or not, but he does drop the football, and first mistake.
Kerr seemed to hit the ball with his hand, and it jolted it loose. O'Neill for Valleys. They're not quite finished. I was about to say they won't use it as an excuse, but losing Bill Holmes and Marty McKenzie for most of the season with injury certainly hasn't helped them. Those two very experienced, classy players.
In a few of those games when they had all those rep players out, you know, it's really taken its toll, and look at the crowd to go here.
Now it's Daunt. He gets it to Burke. Burke's coming off the wing. They're only 12 metres out now. A minute remaining. Not much more than 60 seconds. Major gets it out to Baildon. Baildon cuts back on the inside. It goes to Daunt. It's still alive. Out to Kennedy. They're screaming for it out wide. Crowther loses it inside. It goes to David Burke. Back it comes to Major. He juggles it backwards. Finally fallen on by Major. Valleys have still got it, but they've lost 20 metres. Now they've got a penalty. Peter Gibson all over the top of Adams. Daunt wants a quick tap. He doesn't want to hear the referee's decision. He took the tap. Fraser was in front of him. Fraser was offside.
Well, all the Norse players too were offside, and they made no effort to get back.
The siren is only seconds away. Desperate stuff here from Valleys. But the pass has gone forward. It was offside play, I think, by Valleys. Norths have got the penalties, and the last rush is over. The siren has sounded. Duncan takes the tap, and that is full time, and the sun could have set on Valleys for the season. Too little too late from the Diehards. A great last 20 minutes, but the first 60 minutes was really all the North Devils, and they have won this match by 16 points to 10.
North scored 3 tries to 2, and all of Valleys' points came in the last 19 minutes. A try each to Crowther and Daunt, Kerr kicking 1 from 2. For the Devils, Daryl Duncan scored 2 tries and nearly demolished the goalpost. Groff scored a try. Kelso 1 goal from 1 attempt. Tierney 1 from 3. Among the best for the Devils, Duncan, Campbell, Huxtable and Kelso. But our Lang Park Trust man of the match goes to halfback Craig Groff. Craig, both teams running into the wind scored more points.
Yeah, we did quite well. We came out really well in the first half and threw the ball around a lot. You know, that was our game plan, to throw the ball around. They come out quick out wide, come up quick. So we threw it out, made a lot of breaks, and put a couple of tries on the board. You know, we had the points, so we wanted to do the second half was roll forward and kick, try and keep them in their own territory, which we did quite well. But you know, they made a couple of good tries from 60, 70 yards out, which was just a bit unlucky. We were getting a bit tired there towards the end, but yeah, it was good.
Valleys were playing for survival. Did you think they came out firing as you expected they would?
No, we thought, you know, as for them, it was a grand final for them today. If they lost today, they're out, so they're gone. So we thought, you know, if we can hold them out for the first half, we'll be going all right. But they didn't come out as strong as we thought. We were more fired up, more determined to win the game, and that's why we won it.
Are you glad to see the back of Valleys for the season?
Definitely. As I said, I think if Valleys made the semi-finals, they would have been a real tough side to put away. They're gone now, so, you know, and hopefully we win another game, and we're in there as well. So once you make the finals, anything can happen.
Okay, all the best.
Thanks very much.
In the other results, Logan City, too good for Brothers, 28-16. South's far too good for Ipswich, 32-6. East defeating Redcliffe 30 points to 8. And in a thriller at Cougaray Oval, Wynnum and West played a 16-all draw. The ladder looks like this. East's in sight of the minor premiership on 26 points.